Good afternoon. I actually wasn't going to do a video chat today, but what happened to me this morning, I felt it might ring a bell with some people that it might have happened to them. Have you ever gone back to an old home that you once owned? What an experience that is. I remember going to where I was brought up in Mount Merrion in Dublin, North Avenue to be precise. And we left that house many, many, many moons ago. I've lived in many different houses since then. Of course, my parents are both passed on. And I went to have a look at 43 and with my late brother then. And oh, God, it's a real odd feeling. Not only looking around the house that you were brought up in, but also seeing what the people who bought it have done to it. You know what I mean? Well, today I was in a place in San Pedro called the La Colonia Centre. Now, people are listening, I understand, in England and Ireland, wherever they might be listening in the world, means nothing. It's a shopping centre, I'd say is the best way. A few restaurants, well, not so many now, sports shop, book shop, wine shop. But there is where I really, look, I spent years on Onda Cero Radio, which was the one of the big international radio stations here in Spain, and I was on the what's called international. There was independent. They were so I was on the international English-speaking radio station for about 15 years until I was financially backed by a group of people to open my own radio station, which I named REM FM. I'm not going to go into that all now. I'm going to talk about this experience I had this morning. So La Colonia means a lot to me. I opened up, I think it was in 2004 until 2010. So REM FM opened. REM FM, by the way, is Radio Europe Mediterranean. I remember I was in Dublin and I got a phone call. I was walking with another broadcaster of mine, a colleague of mine, and I got a phone call from a gentleman, an American guy, and he said, "Are you Murray?" He saw this, and I said, "Yes, what's the problem?" He said, "Well, we have a problem because you cannot use the name REM FM anymore." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "I represent the band REM." So I then decided to either play ignorant because I thought the guy was joking, and I said, "REM, wow, who are REM?" Anyway, of course, one of the biggest bands in the world. So anyway, he said, "You know that you're passing off." Now, this is the second time in my career I was accused of passing off. I was accused of passing off by Ola magazine when I launched Hi magazine, saying it was an abbreviation of hello. And here I am passing off, believing he told me that REM owned this radio station and they have no control on it. So I said, "Well, really?" I said, pretending I didn't know who REM was, "Well, maybe they should change their name. Because I have no intention of changing my name. My name stands for Radio Europe Mediterranean, and that's it, so goodbye." I never heard from them again. Just a little funny story. Anyway, back to today, this morning. So one of the kids went on a holiday this morning. They went down to La Colonia, it was Jaden, to take a coach with 50, 100 other kids to go on a summer camp. We went down to say goodbye to him. I always felt uneasy, and very rarely did I ever go into La Colonia because of the past history and because of the disloyal treatment that I had gone through, and I'm not going to go through it now. I will do a program about one day about this, but we'll lay that aside. But I built this radio station. I remember finding the premises. In fact, it was the people who financially booked us, and he asked me where I'd like to put the studio, and I said, "Here in your office." And it was in La Colonia Centre upstairs, and hundreds of people would have known who live here where the REM FM studios were. Anyway, I'm sitting there having a coffee this morning, and I'm looking upstairs, and there is in the same offices, if you want, instead of REM FM or Talk Radio Europe FM TRE, was a dental surgery called Say Cheese. That was the name of it. Say Cheese. Yeah, great name. So after everybody went, I'm going to go up there. Now, it's the first time I've walked up those steps and walked towards what was the studio in 14 years this month. 14 years. I was a young chap. It was a very odd feeling as I got closer to the door. But when I went into this dental surgery, it couldn't have been more different. It was all bright and not saying the studio wasn't, but it was all bright in very light green. I'm going to put some photographs up for you to look at. There was some very nice, receptionists there, and some of the dentists, and they were all young. All young. Well, Jesus, young compared to me. But anyway, I stood there and I told them, and they said, yeah, we know exactly. We know that there was the radio and REM, FM, and the whole practically history. And I noticed there was so much change, but there was bits left. In the foyer or the reception area of the dental surgery, there's a glass there, and on that's got dental stuff, but it used to have REM, FM. I remember ordering that. And then I said, come on, I must see the studio. And in the studio, there's glass into another little room, that same glass as I put up, me personally. And that was into the recording studio. And then glass on another wall, which was into my office and boardroom. And where the dental chair was, or is, sorry, I should say, is where I sat. Years of broadcasting before I was double-crossed. And, it was tears time practically. I felt it. I felt the history, the ghost of REM FM, the wonderful REM FM, and those wonderful people who worked for REM FM, my colleagues, and those who have passed on, like Craig James, the Midnight Man. Amazing feeling. Amazing. I just sort of stood, took a few photographs. The girls followed me in there from the studio. Anyway, I've made an appointment for next week to have some teeth, checked and cleaned. The way they take the coffee stains, whatever. I'm not having a Simon Cowell White now. He looks ridiculous. But anyway, it's going to be odd. Imagine this. Sitting in the dental chair in the same spot that I sat in the broadcasting chair and opening my mouth with some woman sticking whatever into my mouth. Now, go back 14 years and just imagine someone approaching me then and saying to me, can you imagine in 14 years what you'll be doing in this studio? Or will you still be here? I could have guessed lots of things. I could have said, well, maybe it'd be a doctor's place or maybe, but never would I have guessed I'd be sitting in a dental chair in the exact spot where the broadcasting chair was. It was the most weird feeling. And I thought I'd share it with you. And there's some one or two photographs of what it was like before and what it's like right now. Say cheese. And I can't wait to get into that chair and have a photograph taken, because I have a photograph of me sitting in the broadcasting chair. It's a nice little story, but I thought I'd share it with you. Have a wonderful day, and you English people will have the big decision on is it Thursday? It is. I think it's Thursday when you're going to find out who will be your prime minister or a new prime minister. Maybe it's Starmer this time. The election results. I'm sure you'll be up all night watching that, whatever it takes. But good luck to you all, and well done to the English football team. I must say, I always make a little bit of a joke about it's coming home. Do you mean the team or the championship? But let's hope, and well done to Spain. Delighted to see Spain going through. I think they're one of the favourites. Anyway, that's more or less it, and I'll catch up with you later. As I say, this is maybe of interest to very little. Who knows?